Hey guys, I'm a full-time UPS driver in the Northeast region of the US. I'm making this video for any beginner package car driver that wants a little insight on what it's like to drive for this big, beautiful brown company called UPS. Congratulations! You just passed undergrad. Now you're getting ready to embark on a journey that will be mentally and physically demanding, but yet very rewarding. So I know that when I got hired on, I did spend some time searching online for a video that might help new UPS drivers prepare for what's in store for them. I couldn't really find anything that informative online, so I decided to take it upon myself to try to do my best in explaining to you what you should expect now that you've become a driver. So I understand that there are many different types of drivers. You might be an RPCD, short for regular package car driver, a 22.3, 22.4, depending on the region you live in. Or maybe you're a seasonal package delivery driver that's eager to get hired on as a full-time driver. Hopefully this video will help you prepare and give you the best odds in performing the best you can in a professional manner. So let's get started. The first bit of advice that I'd give to any driver is to, number one, never forget what you learned in undergrad. Listen, I understand that during undergrad they threw a ton at you. Nobody expects you to remember every single last detail that was taught to you during your time there. Nevertheless, there are a few things you absolutely do need to remember and implement in your everyday driving life as a UPS driver. I know some of you may not like it, but the 5 seeing habits and the 10-point commentary are crucial. The DOKs, aka the depth of knowledge, is there for a reason. The reason being because it works. Listen, I've had so many encounters with reckless drivers on the road while driving the UPS truck. I often catch myself thinking about the DOKs several different instances throughout the day. I always make sure I keep enough distance between the car in front of me. I always make sure I honk the horn when I see someone getting ready to pull out onto the road, etc. Point is, learning and actually understanding the DOKs does undoubtedly make you a better, safer, and more responsible driver. The second piece of advice is to develop a morning routine as soon as you get into the building every morning. This is something that's going to make you a much more prepared individual and will ultimately help solve problems that might occur during the day before they even occur. As a new driver, I recommend coming in a little earlier and checking what route your supervisors put you on for that day. Until you have enough seniority, odds are you'll be covering other drivers' routes that are on vacation. Ask the OMS staff, that's the people that work in dispatch and help drivers throughout the day, for a printout of your route. The printout will tell you how many errors you have and what stops and pickups you have that day. It's nice to get the paperwork if you're unfamiliar with the route because your ED does not get released until after the morning PCM. The next step I would recommend is to find your truck and go through it. I cannot express how important it is to go through your truck in the morning. This goes for new drivers, old drivers, senior drivers, does not matter. The main thing you want to look for is number one, your airs. Make sure they are in your truck and loaded correctly. And if any are missing, make sure to inform a supervisor immediately before you leave the building. Number two, search your car for misloads. Misloads are packages that do not belong in your truck. Your loader overnight more than likely loads more than one truck, and he could accidentally put a package in the wrong truck. More on that later. And number three, make sure all of the PALs are in sequential order to the best of your ability. This will make the day flow much, much faster as you're not looking for a 3100 package in the 3500 section of your truck. Once you're done with that, go to your morning PCM and pay attention to what your supervisors have to say. They often have some important information you might want to remember before you leave the warehouse for that day. The next thing is that you'll be working a lot of hours. Listen, at UPS, it's all about seniority. When you have enough seniority, you can get your name on this thing called the 9 to 5 list. That basically means that management can't force you to go have to help anybody else after you're done with your route. You, my friend, do not have that privilege. Get ready to have to work close to or up to 60 hours a week and be happy that DOT law doesn't let them work you for more. If they ask you if you want to work 6 weeks, most of the time you can say no, but they can technically kind of force it on you, especially if you're a seasonal employee and you're not protected by the union. You can't file any grievances against management. Listen, if racking up some sweet overtime isn't what you like, some ways to get around it is making sure you follow every single safety method UPS wants you to follow when you're on a route. Going behind the truck instead of in front of the truck when you're crossing the street. Don't run, but also don't go too slow. As you become more familiar with the job, you'll start to develop your own workflow. Just the right speed where you're not going too fast, but you're also not popping up on the supervisor's list every morning. You don't want that. Make sure that you're taking your allotted breaks throughout the day. I always recommend taking at least a 30-minute lunch to ensure you're not finished too quickly and to really get some rest. But that's completely up to you. During your breaks, I do recommend going through your truck and organizing, as things most likely shifted while you've been driving for several hours. If you find any missed loads, I recommend calling them in early. The earlier you do it, the better. If you're lucky, they might send somebody out to grab it instead of making you deliver it after you're done with your route. Yes, they can do that. Underlining why you should really try to find them in the morning while you're still at the warehouse. And the fourth thing you should expect is that you're going to have to invest in yourself just a little bit. UPS is a very physically demanding job as much as it's a rewarding one. Remember, you're getting in and out of that truck more than 200 times throughout the day, sometimes even more. You're walking up to 20,000 steps a day. Your body takes a toll. It's imperative that you invest in yourself. What I mean by that? Get good shoes, get comfortable underwear, buy good sunscreen and use it when need be. Get a good bag that can carry all your essentials. Some of the things I recommend you get are good durable sunglasses to keep the sun out of your eyes while you're walking, a good headlamp for the darker fall/winter nights when the sun leaves you at around 5 to 6 p.m. It gets pretty tricky to find those house numbers. A good cooler to keep your drinks cool throughout the hot summer days. And some drivers might even hate me for saying this, but I recommend Skechers shoes. Sure, they're not the best shoe in the world, but as a UPS driver, you can get a special 30% off everything they sell. That 30% off stacks with any other promotions they have going on throughout the year as well. You'll literally save a ton of money. Shoes is something we replace quite often as a delivery driver. You might be impressed. The next thing is earbuds/AirPods. They are a must. I recommend getting one with a rechargeable case so that you can always switch them out when one starts to run out of battery. That way you can listen to your favorite music or podcast while on the go. It makes time much more pleasurable and it makes it go by way faster. If there are any other drivers watching the video, please feel free to leave a comment with any other things you might think we need, as I'm only really pointing out some things to keep the video a little shorter. Number 5 is to try to get along with other drivers. When you first start at UPS, you more than likely won't know too many people there. Depending on how big your center is, there could be hundreds of drivers. Yeah, some might not be the nicest to the rookies, but for the most part, they're extremely helpful and nice. Remember, you're the youngest person being added to this brotherhood, and for the most part, they all want you to succeed. Getting friendly with other drivers is always a good thing. Since you are more than likely a cover driver, you might be covering one of the routes one day. I personally made sure that when I got to the hub, I made friends with as many people as I could when I first got there. I made sure they had my phone number and I had theirs. The more they like you, the more tips they'll give you on how to go about their route or other routes they might have covered in the past. For example, if there's a specific key you need to get into an apartment or complex, or if there's any dead pickups on a route that they're familiar with, they can let you know all of that stuff so you're not wasting your time. UPS is a union job. They are your union brothers and sisters. If they're telling you something, it's more likely because they're looking out for you and want to make sure that you're good. Find your union steward. Become good friends with the union stewards. Show them you care about the union. Show them you care about the job and that you're a safe and responsible driver. They will always be there to fight for you if anything ever goes south with management. Beware of dogs and other drivers. If you've ever had to work in any sort of delivery job, you might be familiar with this one. Dogs can either be the nicest, sweetest, cutest things to ever walk this earth, or they can be scary, ruthless, and unforgiving. I personally have seen some bite marks from other drivers at my center, and they are not pretty. Remember, safety is key. Take a look at the notes attached to the next stop you'll be making. They might have a warning that a bad dog lives at the household, and the tip could really save you. Regardless of the stop having a note or not, you should always honk your horn when you're coming to a stop and yell UPS when you're beginning to walk up somebody's driveway. Don't listen to the owner if they say, oh, the dog's never bit anyone, because you might just be the first one that it does. When you're on the road, you'll notice that other drivers love to not pay attention while they're driving. Distracted driving can cause an accident at any point. Remember the fifth point in the 5 seeing habits. Make sure they see you. Honk your horn and wave at them. Signal before you turn and make sure that you are known to the public when you're driving around them. Safety is key. This also applies to you as a driver. You have a huge responsibility driving that truck and can cause much more damage than the Honda Civic could. Check the text when you get to the next stop. Always pay attention all around you, all space on all 4 sides. Accidents can happen and management will try every way possible to blame it on you. The last thing I want to say is to respect the uniform. Carry yourself in a professional manner. Being a UPS driver is a very prestigious position. It's not for everybody, and more than likely, if you're here, you're familiar with how well we're compensated and how great our benefits are. We're considered professionals in our industry, and you should always think of it as so. Dress well, follow the uniform guidelines, have respect for the uniform and what you represent. Always present yourself in a courteous and professional manner when interacting with customers. Get familiar with the people on different routes and remember that everybody is more than likely always happy to see you when you're pulling into the neighborhood to drop a package off. Remember, there are cameras everywhere. Do not throw packages, do not use foul language, and always follow the methods UPS wants you to follow. I promise you this job will be worth it. Customers will love you. You might even get lucky and get some nice tips during the holiday season. Try to keep a positive outlook and also try not to bring your personal issues into the workplace. Respect and listen to what management says, even if you don't agree with it. They can make your life a living hell if they really want to. Trust me, I've seen it with my own eyes. Well, thanks for listening, guys. That's all I got for you this time. This is my first ever video that I've put together, so don't be too harsh on me. I was thinking about making a video about tricks with the dyad, tips and tricks with the dyad. Let me know if that's something you guys would like to see in the comments below. If you enjoyed, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. I'll be sure to post new videos very soon. Thank you.